This is the Iqon ACT skate. It's being touted as a multi-discipline skate for aggressive skating, cruising, and wizard. The reason it can do all that is because of this, a first of its kind multi-mount base they are calling Interlink. It allows the user to fit UFS mount frames, classic 165 mount frames, or Trinity mount frames. It comes in 4 versions from stock, with a complete aggressive boot being the real hero product. The WZ model offers a ready-to-roll wizard setup and is the lowest priced complete wizard skate on the market. The Interlink boot will be the most popular because of the low price and because people will want to add their own frames and liners. And then the CL team is, well, a bit of an afterthought. More on that later. But for now, here's 5 really cool things about the Iqon ACT skate. They've really put the effort in when it comes to the design on the underside of the skate. They've got this honeycomb pattern which reduces weight without taking away from solidity, and then they've got cut out divots middle, front and back, and that's going to give you the lowest ride height when used with the right frame setup. This pulley strap at the back feeds through the cuff, so you can pull on it as hard as you like to pull your skates on. Usually the skate companies say that this is for carrying only, so if you pull it off, it won't be covered under warranty. Not in this case. You can yank on this one and they'll cover you. If you take the cuff off, you can see these lines on the back of the shell, and you can use a sharp knife or scissors to cut along those lines, cutting off the plastic and improving the forward flex of the skate. Careful though, once you cut them off, you can't put them back on again. This cuff hardware is called the revolver system, and it means you can set your cuff to 6 different positions to customize your ride. It also means that the skate is compatible with almost every other cuff on the market. Instead of the usual shock absorbing heel wedge, they've got a heel wedge attached to a full length insole, which is made out of a foam that feels like it's dense enough that it might actually be quite good. On top of that, on the inside, they've got more shock absorbing foam stuck over the top of the bolt head receivers. So how do they feel for size? I'm a UK 7, 7.5 thereabouts. The skate I'm skating on is UK 6.5 to 7. That's an EU 40 to 41. It feels tight but good, actually. It was really hard to get my foot in. The opening is really small because it's quite low profile. But once I was in, it felt accurate to the way it's labelled. Shell sizes are like this. You might want to pause that. And then if you want to try and get some extra size out of it, if you're trying to downsize the shell, I tried an intuition liner in it, but it didn't offer that much extra volume inside the skate. The width felt the same. My toes maybe had like a couple of millimeters extra, but because it's got a stretchy toe in this prime liner anyway, it kind of doesn't matter. My fit, aka Power Slide, do this thing on some of their liners where they make the foam really firm, and I find it a little bit jarring on my ankles personally. And I know it's probably good for being responsive, but it just feels a little too hard for me sometimes. But you have to remember that what they want you to do is to heat mold this. That was the whole point in my fit in the first place, was that you were supposed to heat mold it. So let's actually have a go at heat molding these and see what sort of difference it makes. Okay, let's have a go at heat molding them. By the way, they've got this bit on the side here that velcros off. So if you want to, you can take that off to make the liners a bit thinner in volume, but I'm going to keep them on because I think it will protect me against my cuff digging in. So the side of the liners tell you 60 degrees Celsius. I'm not going to listen to that. I'm going to do these at 90 degrees Celsius because it's always been 90 and the website says 90, and I don't know why they've suddenly printed 60 degrees on the side of the liner. So 90 degrees for 10 minutes will be fine. Don't forget about them. It's been 10 minutes. It's actually been slightly longer, so let's hurry up. Stop! Try not to burn myself. So heat molding, I can't say I noticed much difference at all. It's definitely not a drastic difference. What I would say is the longer I had the liners on my feet, even before heat molding, the more they just started to feel part of my foot. And I think there's something to be said for that, that the heat of your feet alone is enough to kind of mold them into place. I've had them on for like 2 hours now and they feel actually really good. Okay, let's take them for a roll and see how they feel. Okay, so they off the bat feel really fast. they're like super fast on the roll. I don't know whether they feel like stiff, like I don't know if it's those Justin Thursday frames that are made of a really hard material or whether it's the base of the skate, but immediately very noticeable how fast they are. What I would say, on impact, they do feel like there's quite a bit of shock from what I'm used to. So I don't know why that is. The vibrational shock seems good, but the impact shock is less good. Let's talk about how good they look. This size looks tiny. I love the green grey colour. I think it's really unique. But look at the proportions on that. I really like it. Gaston said the frames maybe were a bit too long, but I think they're perfect. I like a long frame. Let's do sole, top sole, royale, and report back. Woo! Whoop. You know, the sole feels fast, expectedly. I tell you what though, they are stiff on the bone over. I heard this from people. They said they felt too stiff. I don't think they're too stiff at all. They're just really supportive. Top sole, this will be the real test of stiffness. Yeah, no problem at all. The stiffness is fine. Top sides were fine. And yeah, it is stiff, but like, it's good, just good for being stable. Quick royale test. We all know you need to break in your royales, but this is royale out the box. Nothing like disastrous to report back. As soon as you've worn that in, it's going to feel good, like pretty much any other skate. Top porn star. Okay, it's tomorrow, and we're out here with Harry, and now we've got the Wizard. Got the Wizard frames on the Iqon ACT boot. Harry's given them a whiz. What do you think?
Yeah, pretty good, really. So first thing is fit's pretty true. This skate's one size too big for me, and it feels one size too big for me. So I'd buy my true size. Obviously the out the box version comes with a 5x80 Kaiser edge frame, and I've switched it out with the Wizard PR76. It's a bit better proportioned with my foot size, so I can only really comment on the boot, not the frame. The forward flex, I think out the box it comes really stiff, and because you use a lot of your shins in Wizard style, it's really noticeable. So I'd probably be inclined to try and adjust the flex a little bit. And then also, yeah, the liner is maybe, I would probably switch it out for an Intuition. It's not, the liner doesn't help the forward flex at all. But ultimately, pretty nice option on the market for Wizard style tricks. UFS, so it's compatible with many different UFS Wizard style frames of your choice, although it comes with one too. And yeah, other than the liner, pretty economical way into the style of skating, which I think is really fun and cool.
Okay, enough skating. Let's go back inside and let's talk. Okay, we're back. Let's talk about the aggressive version first, then let's talk about Wizard, then let's talk about the cruising skate, which I know we've not talked about yet, but we will get to it. So when they first released images of this skate, I have to say that I was slightly indifferent. I really liked it, but I was indifferent to it because I just thought, well, it's another plastic hard shell boot amongst a sea of other plastic hard shell boots. And at this point in life, I do really feel like everything that's a half decent quality plastic boot just kind of feels pretty similar. There's very minor differences between a lot of these skates. But then as I was filming this review, just with each little feature and each little segment, I just started to think, well, they were really selling it to me. I was convincing myself as I was filming, because if you're gonna have a hard plastic boot which feels quite similar to the next one, why not have a kind of 6-way adjustable cuff, or a pulley that you can yank on, or a heat moldable line, or a forward flex adjustment, or a mount which you can put a whole load of different frames on, especially when that skate is only £270. It's not like a super expensive premium price either. It's like sat right there in the middle. So yeah, I'm totally sold on that. If I'm gonna have a plastic boot skate that feels like other plastic boot skates, why not have like all these other features on it as well? The one feature that really sold it to me actually was the look of the skate. I just love the look. I think it's my favorite looking skate in a really long time. It's my favorite looking skate currently of all time. I'm sure my mind will change when the next good looking skate comes out, but the silhouette's great, the color's great, and that's enough for me to want to skate it, as long as the skate skates pretty well, which it definitely does. So let's just go from the top down and talk about a few of the features we've not properly mentioned yet. I have mentioned the liner. I just want to say that I was cynical about the liner at first, but the more I wore it, the more I really liked it, and I will continue to skate the skate with that liner in, which is rare for me. I would usually always switch out my liner. Quick intermission. So I've come out on the Wizard skates the next day, and this tongue will not stop shifting around no matter how tight I do it. It's really annoying. So the rest of the line are good, the tongue not so good. We'll have to see if I want to carry on skating that over time. Let's look at the sole kit. We've not talked about that yet. It's got this kind of Mesmer shape at the front, this kind of really natural curved shape, which I really like about the Mesmer skate. Although the Mesmer skate, it's got like a natural curve at the back, and you lose a little bit of sole space because of it, but this hasn't. This has got a more squared shape sole space at the back. So it's got the best of both worlds in my mind. I like that natural curve. It means it doesn't feel too like cumbersome, it doesn't stick out too much, whereas you do have a more square shape for locking on at the back. I think it's the perfect best of both. And then the sole kit is about 40 millimeters on this size. That's a pretty standard sole kit size these days. Not too big that it's clumsy, not too small that it's hard to grind. It's about the same as an Iqon or a Razor SL. The frames, we'll talk about these frames. These are the AG60 frames from Iqon. They're an aftermarket frame, and they're this much. I don't remember how much, but if they're that much aftermarket, think about how good a value this skate becomes as a complete for £270. The frame, designed by Justin Thursday, is made out of the superfluid material that Kaiser use. Obviously Iqon and Kaiser and Powerslide are all the same company, really, and yeah, super hard, and that will actually explain why the skates were really fast on the roll, and it will also explain why I was feeling quite a lot of impact, like shock impact, more than what I was used to, because a hard frame will do that. So it's got pros and it's got cons. I don't like a hard frame. I think hard frame, yeah, I don't like the impact that you get through it, and I don't like how they feel on grinds because they feel too jittery on grinds. I prefer a softer Royale, you know, so I'll probably put a wish frame on that. But for some people, they like really hard frames because they're really fast on the grind and they last a long time. They're not going to wear out easily, and they're fast on the roll, like I said. The wheels, they looked fine after I skated them. I didn't skate them for long enough to really give good feedback, but they didn't have any cracks in them or anything like that. And then let's talk about the stiffness. Yeah, I did see some complaints online about how stiff they are. Personally, I like a stiffness like that. I don't find it gives any disadvantage to my skating. In fact, if anything, I like the solidity of having a stiff skate like that. As we saw in the video, I don't feel like it negatively affected my top sides. It wasn't like I couldn't get my foot down. It was fine, it felt solid, it felt good. Some people will want more flex. So if you do want more flex, you can change the cuff to most other cuffs. So maybe put a Razor's cuff or something like that on it. Quick edit about the flex. So you can take the cuff off and you see these little bridges underneath, and you can cut those bridges off in order to improve the lateral flex of the skate. So cut one off to improve it a bit, cut them both off to improve it even more. And then the other thing they're talking about is something called plasticization, which is a scientific term used to describe how plastic gets more flexy over time. And they're saying if you dunk the back of your skate into hot water and let it cool, then it will speed up the plasticization process, making your skate more flexible quicker. And then the forward flex adjustment, again, I'm just going to keep that. I'm not going to adjust that because I don't really care either way if I have forward flex or not. I'm not fussy about that. And then let's talk about this thing. This is quite funny. In the box, you get this little toe piece, and I think it's because it's shared shell sizes. And what they want you to do is, if you're like on the smaller end of that shared shell size, so this is a 6.5 to 7. If you were 6.5 UK, you might put this little toe piece in. It goes, you take the liner out, the toe piece goes in the shell and actually bolts through as well to stay in place. And then the liner goes back in. It's quite, I mean, I don't really, maybe it stops the liner from shifting forward. But I mean, even if it does, I'd rather just stub my toe on like some air at the end of my liner than like a little insert. So I think this is just an extra selling point that they're putting in there. But this is just like akin to like your mum stuffing some like tissue paper in the end of your skates because you bought them 2 sizes too big. So I'm going to leave that one out. Let's talk about the Wizard setup. So all the Wizard skates come with this 5x80mm Kaiser edge frame. It's interesting, when I say all of them, I just mean all sizes. So in Wizard, there's a lot of focus on having the correct length frame, i.e. the right wheel size to denote how long your frame is versus how big your foot is. There's a lot of people care about, you know, making sure the frame length is right for their foot size, whereas this skate uses a 5x80mm setup regardless of what foot size you are. So it's less precise than what you might expect in a Wizard skate, but for the price it's 360 UK pounds. You're getting an amazing setup. I mean, you're just not going to get a Wizard setup for that price in any way, shape or form. So you do make some sacrifices, and for some people like the 5x80mm will be perfect anyway. For Wizard, I mean, we saw Harry skating them. I think a lot of people will like that there's no forward flex on the skate, and you know, some people want to skate Wizard with no forward flex. Harry said that he would adjust it. Perfect. It's doing its job, isn't it? It's allowing you to customize it to however you want to skate it. Isn't it an interesting thing they said on the marketing of these was that this was the lowest hardboot Wizard skate on the market, which I found really interesting because I was thinking like, well, first of all, it's UFS, so pretty much everything's the same height like ride height wise, because it's just flat bottom. But then the more I thought about it, the more I was like, well, actually, I think it's because it's the only hardboot Wizard skate available that hasn't got a sole kit. Because you could skate any aggressive skate with a Wizard skate with a UFS mount, but they've all got sole kits on them, maybe with the exception of like an UFR skate, but maybe that's thicker on the bottom, and that's why they're saying this is lower than that. I suppose that brings me around to a good point that there just really isn't complete Wizard skates available on the market. You know, we built a Wizard base with Wizard frames on it. That's over £1,000, quite a lot more than £1,000, I think. But there's no companies releasing like out the box Wizard setups. So for Iqon to come out and do that, it's a bit of a revelation really, and it gives people the opportunity to buy straight into Wizard skating, put them straight on your feet. It is a good Wizard skate. You know, it might not be a Wizard base, it might not have carbon fibre, it might not have the exact Wizard criteria that you want, but it's for £360. It's a lot cheaper, and you can do some Wizard. It's great for Wizards. So we've moved forward with this release as far as like Wizard complete skates go. So congratulations to Powerslide and Iqon on doing that. And then finally, let's just talk about the cruiser skate. The cruiser skate is very much, it is a bit of an afterthought, really. I think because of this mount here, the skate is super high. I mean, this frame isn't the lowest frame in the world, but then you've got this mount here, which is just making the whole skate so high off the ground. It's almost like it almost surprised me that they brought it out like this. And in fact, I sent an email to Powerslide kind of asking them about it. And they said that the next season, it'll come out as a 3-wheel skate. So I think it'll be the same frames as this, a 3x110, But if you put maybe, yeah, I think if you put a 110mm wheel in here, because this frame has got the ability to put 3 wheels on as well, it will be kind of closer to it'll be lower riding for that wheel size. I just think it's a bit strange to come out of the box like this. I think they maybe should have, because they've got the ability to put Trinity mount frames on them, and this is a power slide umbrella product. So yeah, it kind of seems crazy they didn't put a Trinity frame on, because a Trinity frame would actually allow you to get closer to the boot. Even though there's an adapter for the Trinity mount, it's designed so the wheel dips below that adapter as low as it can go, and then you've got this cut out divot in the bottom of the boot here. So yeah, I'd hope to see in the future the cruiser skate have a Trinity frame on it rather than this frame is too high. But that said, I think all in all, the skate is primarily an aggressive skate, a really good aggressive skate. Secondarily, a wizard skate, and a really good value wizard skate. And then kind of thirdly, the bonus that you can put on a cruising frame if you want to. Okay, that's it. It's been a long one. Thanks for sticking with me. You can see more of our videos here, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.